guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not foundation review on a newer brand at Sephora. I'm going to be trying the Wonder Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. It looks exactly like this. I purchased this a few weeks ago on Sephora.com because I've been seeing a lot of you guys request this, and also I've been really curious about it. I was actually watching Beauty Bird's video a few weeks ago, and she used this foundation and she was like, oh my God, this foundation is so good. So whenever I see somebody on YouTube say something's really good, it really intrigues me to want to try it. So that's when I saw and I was like, let me just go ahead and buy it. So I went on the Sephora app and I kind of like read into it and I kind of liked what it said. It has like almost 5 stars on the Sephora app. It is $40. And it claims to be a full coverage foundation that gives you a very weightless, fluid, natural finish, and it's supposed to cover like redness or imperfections with as little as 1 layer, which is really interesting. It gives you a filtered finish for all day coverage without feeling heavy, and also resists heat, humidity, and sweat. So I'm just really excited about this. I feel like it may be a good situation. It does say that it's a natural radiant finish, so it's not going to claim to be matte or anything like that. So if you guys are oily skin people, then that's just something to note. We don't know yet because I am oily, so we're gonna have to test out to see how it works for our skin, but it may be a really good situation. It is cruelty-free, free of mineral oil and synthetic fragrance. So let's go ahead and start with this foundation. It does have a little, one of these little guys, so we're gonna have to cut it a little bit. And when you open it, it looks like this. It is one of these types of packagings. I did purchase this in the shade Golden Tan. So let me pull it up again and see if I can find any information on it. No, it just says Golden Tan. So that's all we get here. But I think this will be pretty accurate to my complexion. I hope so. And how much do you have in here? You have 1.01 ounces, so very standard size. I must say I do like this packaging. I know some people don't like this type of squeezy tube situation, but a lot of foundations have been coming out with this squeezy tube situation, so we'll have to see how this works. But first I'm gonna go ahead and prep my face. So I already went ahead and applied moisturizer. For moisturizer, I used my Ultra Repair Cream by First Aid Beauty. I always talk about this baby right here. And then I'm going to be using my Milani Prime and Shield Mattifying and Pore Minimizing Face Primer. I need to get a new one because this one is running pretty low. And also I feel like I just need more backup. I do have to say, if you do want to purchase Milani products, I would recommend going to Walmart and picking it up because it is much more affordable than going to like CVS or anywhere else. I love having short hair. I feel like it makes everything so much easier. Okay, so now that we've applied our primer, we can go ahead and apply the foundation. Okay, so we are up close and personal. We're gonna go ahead and like always start with this side right here, and we're going to be using our sponge. So when you open it, it comes with this type of applicator. So it comes with, if I can pull it out, this doe foot applicator, which I actually kind of like this situation because I feel like you don't have to get your fingers dirty, especially if you like to kind of dot the foundation. So let's just go ahead and do that. Ooh, this is definitely going to be a good match. Yeah. Ooh, okay. I see you. Hopefully, like it says, with 1 full layer will be good. It's supposed to cover the redness right away. Blending very beautifully. I'm definitely seeing the radiance, as you can see. It looks like a good, healthy radiance. It blends out very easily. Wow, it does look very pretty. It does have a nice glow. The color is looking pretty good. It may be a little tiny bit darker than like my neck right now, and that's probably just because I'm getting more on the fair side because it is winter approaching. But I feel like for spring and summer, this would be like the perfect shade. But it's pretty close. It's nothing like too far off. Wow. Do you guys see that? I don't need another layer. With this 1 layer, it was able to really do its job because you cannot see any of my redness right now. It doesn't look like a greasy radiance. It looks like a healthy radiance, but there's definitely that like glowiness in it. So if you're somebody that has oily skin that doesn't like that, this may be one of those things that you push away from. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead again. I love that it comes with this applicator. It makes things so much easier. And it doesn't smell like anything, so that's another positive thing. We're gonna be using Ardell Tools Golden Triangle Precision Kabuki brush. So we're gonna begin blending. Wow, it blended right in. Do you see how fresh that looks though? Like it has that dewiness. I'm not complaining right now. I think it actually looks kind of pretty. It makes the foundation look very fresh, but throughout the day, that's the real question. Okay, so I'm just gonna blend it up here. My forehead, the most important part. I also have to say that I feel like with either the sponge or the brush, it applies really well, because in the sponge side, it looks great, but also on the brush side, it looks great. It blended out very, very easily. You don't have to do way too much for you to get this very nice finish. It didn't break apart or anything. It just looks very fresh on the skin and very ready to go and to conquer the day. I feel like this is definitely gonna be something that people that have dry skin will really love, because it definitely gives you some of that really good radiance. And I know that people that have dry skin crave more of this finish than people that have oily skin, reasonably so. But I definitely see this being a hit for people with dry skin, just from like very, very first impressions. I definitely feel like as somebody that has oily skin, I am going to have to set this a little bit with some powder and see how that performs. I may also have to use a mattifying setting spray because I definitely want to kind of, you know, have a little bit more of a normal finish as opposed to super radiant. But I do have to say that it does feel very lightweight on the skin. I feel like it looks absolutely beautiful. That's one of the reasons why I feel like I may enjoy this even with the radiance. But if this does give me a lot of radiance by the end of the day, then definitely won't be something I will want to use because of my skin type. But I think that right now my skin just looks very beautiful. It looks very skin-like. It feels very skin-like. It doesn't look like you're wearing a heavy-duty foundation, and I feel like that's what a lot of us love. Also, I have to say that the consistency of this foundation is definitely a more creamy, almost like water-based foundation. Let me see if this does this have water? I feel like one of the main ingredients has to be water, right? Yes, so this definitely has water, glycerin, and this, I feel like I can kind of see that hydration given to from that ingredient in there, from the water. Definitely a creamy type of consistency, but it's not super runny. But as it's setting, I feel like we still keep that radiance in there. Not as like wet looking as we originally placed it, but it definitely looks nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, look more snatched than I do right now. And I will be back to give you guys my very first initial thoughts on this Wonder Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. And we can go ahead and start today. So I'll be back shortly, looking much better than this. Okay, so I am back. It is now 10 a.m. on a Thursday. I finished my entire face of makeup. I'm living for this makeup right now. I'm still obsessed with the Naked Urban Decay Cherry palette. I hope that you guys did watch my review and tutorial on this palette. I will have it linked up here if you haven't done so already, so you can go ahead and check it out. But I'm like legit living for this palette. It is so much fun. I feel like it's taking me out of my element, like the neutral, like warm shades, and taking me to like some pink fun. So I'm really loving this. I will have all the products I used on my face listed down below in my description box, so you guys can go ahead and check that out as well. And now we can go ahead and talk about the Wonder Beauty foundation. So I have to say the foundation looks so beautiful. Only thing I was noticing a lot of while I was doing my makeup was the fact that this was very radiant looking. So what I did go ahead and do is I used the leftover setting powder I used to bake my under eyes to dust it off in the areas where I was getting oily. So I placed it on here, my smile lines. It was looking a little dewy, also kind of like on my cheek area and my T-zone. And it definitely looks a lot better now, as you can see. So that's the only powder I used in those areas. I didn't use any more powder. I want to see how it's going to do with just that much. I did go ahead and use the Airspun powder by Coty. You can find that at Walmart, very affordable, and you get a lot of powder in the little what is it called? The little tub. So that's what I used. I did go ahead and use my KKW Beauty Brightening Concealer in the shade number 6. I did feel like the foundation was looking a little tiny bit darker, so I kind of wanted to neutralize it to the shade that my neck is. And I feel like by taking this concealer, it definitely neutralized it a good amount and made it look very nice. But everything looks really nice and beautiful. The skin still looks very skin-like. So I'm gonna really hope that this is going to stay and last and look very nice on an oily skin person for the whole day. Now, on somebody that has dry, normal, and combination skin, I feel like if you like that radiance, then you're gonna love this because the radiance is showing through. But I feel like this will be great for somebody that has dry skin. I do wanna talk about how I set it. So I went ahead and used 2 setting sprays. So as soon as I was done my eye makeup and my concealer, blush, and all that, I put on my e.l.f. Matte Magic Mist and Set Spray, which I have talked about. I really enjoy this. And that was before I did my lip and my highlights, so I placed that all over my face. Then I used my MAC Fix Plus in the matte version, and I sprayed this once I had applied my lipstick and my highlight, just to kind of be like a double lock, so that it could lock everything really nicely into place. So I'm hoping that by using those 2 together, it will perform really well. I do have to say that in my last review, when I reviewed the ColourPop Stick Foundation, which update, I'm still really loving this. I've been using this every single day since I did that review whenever I was doing my makeup just for myself. This worked great with this by itself, but just because I was seeing a lot of radiance from the Wonder Beauty foundation, I went ahead and used those 2 setting sprays. So I'll let you know how that looks by the end of the day, because you'll, of course, will see it. So that being said, I'm going to be doing a lot today. I'm going to be running a lot of errands and stuff. So I'll give you guys my full thoughts, my full tea on the Wonder Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation at the end of the day, and we can decide whether this is worth $40 or not, and whether it's worth your cash or not, because that's definitely a very important factor. But so far, I do like it. I love the finish that it gives me, and I like how it looks very skin-like. But that's not enough for us to decide yet if this is going to be a winner in our eyes. So if you want to go ahead and see my final thoughts on this, then please go ahead and continue watching. Okay, so I am back right now. It is currently 6:30 p.m. at night. The last time I saw you guys was around 10 a.m., so it's been a long day, and I think I have some well-developed thoughts on this foundation. This has been on my face with no like touch-ups whatsoever, just kind of the foundation. I've been running errands all day, so I was unable to really like be checking on it, like touching it up like that. But I do have a few things to say about this foundation before I let you guys know whether I think the Wonder Beauty foundation is worth a buy or not. So I want to start off by the obvious. I do have oily skin, in case you guys don't know, or in case you went from watching me just put it on to this outro, which makes sense. I know my videos can be long, but I have to say that we are seeing our dew shine through right now. It's not as intense as it could be considering how radiant we were in the beginning, but it's definitely a radiant glow right there. But I do have to say that considering the fact that it is definitely more on the dewy side right now, it looks very beautiful still. Like, I feel like it still looks like a pretty foundation. It doesn't look like one of those yucky foundations that just looks overly dewy on someone that has oily skin and it's like not working out. So if you are interested, what you could do is blot it. I'm using my sponge, and I'm just gonna kind of take care of those oils so you guys can see on camera, and you can see that now it looks so much better. And even with blotting it, none of the foundation came off. It's still perfectly in place. I know that with some foundations, as soon as you go ahead and blot the oils, you start to see it transfer, you start to see it break apart and see it come off, and this still is perfectly in place. So I'm a really big fan of that. I have to say that's a really positive thing over here. So I would have to say that if you're somebody that liked how it looked on the skin and you have oily skin and you don't mind kind of blotting some of those shines by the end of the day, then you probably will enjoy this. I have to say what I am really enjoying about this foundation is the fact that this foundation is very skin-like. It feels like skin. It doesn't feel like you have anything on the skin. And I feel like for as long as we had it on, the oils weren't so nasty and so ugly for somebody that has oily skin. Now, if you do have dry skin, I think you're absolutely going to love this foundation. It is very beautiful on the skin, and that radiance that I was seeing in the beginning where I was like, whoa, this is a little too radiant for oily skin, I feel like for somebody that has dry skin, they're gonna be like in pure heaven, because it was definitely a very pretty sight. I also wanna say that I really appreciate this applicator. I kinda like this situation because I feel like it makes it so much easier to apply. You can just kind of like put it on there as opposed to having to use your fingers, dot, and then having to get your fingers dirty and all that. It just kind of saves some steps for you there. Also, you get a good amount of product in here. I feel like the shade Golden Tan is great. It was a little tiny bit darker than my neck, but like I mentioned, you can go ahead and use concealer and just kind of fix it up a little bit, and it will definitely work its magic. Considering we used 2 setting sprays and our setting powder, I would have to say that if I wanted it to stay matte for longer, what I would do is I would probably bake my face and then I would go on for the rest of the day, because I do feel like this foundation does wear very nicely through the day. I feel like it is more of that long wear because it's not transferring. It's still all perfectly in place on my skin. The only issue we had, like I mentioned, was that it was getting dewier. So I would say definitely you're gonna wanna just go ahead and take a sponge and just kind of bake in those areas where you do get oily, and leave them on for no more than like 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can go ahead and be ready for the day. Use everything else that I used, and you'll be great. I feel like it's all about how you prep your skin before you apply it, and also how you kind of manage to prep it through the application of it. That's going to take the foundation further with somebody that has oily skin. So I have to say that I think this is a great foundation. I feel like I will definitely be reusing this. I feel like I'm also going to be, like I just mentioned, trying it with my baking method, because I want to see if that will help any more than it should. But at least now I know that if I were to go out with this and I did get a little bit oily, I can go in and blot it, and it will definitely look just as good as it did when I first applied it, and nothing will transfer. So that's definitely a positive thing. Those are all my thoughts. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to say about this foundation, then please let me know in the comment section down below. I love when you guys start a conversation here on my channel, because it's always so much fun to interact about makeup. Also, if you enjoyed watching my worth the buy or not foundation review on the new Wonder Beauty foundation, please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Lets me know to continue doing these videos. And also, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you to become a member family here on YouTube, because I wouldn't want you guys to miss my videos for the world. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single time I upload a new video, because YouTube can play us sometimes, and I don't want you guys to miss any of the fun on my channel. So I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye, guys!